Welcome back everyone to YinDyang, and I want to start off by saying something very important that you guys all need to hear. We were all put on this earth for a reason, and no matter what you decide to do with your life, no matter how small you think it is, even if it just changes one person's life, just know when you change that person's life, you change the world for them. And so, in a way, you are changing the world. So what inspired me to make this a topic for my channel is actually a shark documentary. I saw how harmless sharks, they're very harmless, you guys, believe me, they're harmless. Do your research. They very rarely do they cause human accidents. They're very harmless. They were being poached for their fins. They were being slaughtered alive, and their lifeless bodies were just being thrown right into the ocean. When I saw this in the documentary, I thought to myself, I have to do something about this. But then I realized that I already do have my purpose. I have my calling, and I can't distract myself from that. Although I feel very passionate about helping other life forms and the respect of life in general, that focusing all of my energy on that would not be walking into my purpose. And then it reminded me that there are people doing something about it. There are advocates for marine life and sharks specifically too. And they found their calling and they walked into their purpose. So you guys, I say this all to say the world needs you. We need you to find your purpose, find your calling, because you are going to make a difference, no matter how small it may be. A lot of people don't realize that removing the shark from the ecosystem breaks everything down. They are the master predators of the ocean. It impacts how the algae grows in the ocean. It impacts the carbon dioxide and the oxygen levels in the ocean, and it changes the whole life of the ecosystem in marine life. We may not realize how small an impact one thing makes, but it changes everything around it. And you're like that shark. You make a difference just by being present, just by being not even just a part of the ecosystem, but if you just knew the impact you had by walking to your purpose, wow, you really would change the world. You are necessary. The world has become overrun by corruption and greed and people doing quick little schemes to make $1. People not driven by purpose, by compassion, by love, by their own passion. We need you to be the change that we're wishing for in this world. And the only way you're going to do that, or the best way you're going to do that, is by walking to your purpose and hearing your calling. So stop sitting there and do something, please. I can't emphasize enough how much we need you. The reason that documentary lit a fire under me is because I have such big compassion for other living creatures and beings, and it infuriates me to see life disrespected. And although specifically helping sharks isn't exactly my calling, helping others is, and facilitating the healing process in other people. And I know by doing that, I'm making the world a better place. And that is why it's called a calling. This calling chose me. I've been called to becoming a holistic doctor, and for me, that starts with chiropractic. And not all of you guys, I feel like a lot of people don't truly understand what chiropractic is, and it's a lot more than just the cracks of your back and your neck. It's so much more, and since it is such a big topic, I'm going to talk about it next week, so stay tuned for that. But what I really want to leave you guys with is to use compassion to find your passion. If I didn't have compassion for other life and beings, I wouldn't have been able to realize what my passion was. And to find what you're passionate about directs you to your future career, to your calling. Today, I am encouraging you guys to open your hearts, to have more compassion, not just for other people, but for yourself too. You know, give yourself grace, of course, but use that compassion to realize what you're passionate about. Do some introspection and contemplate where your passions are directing you. Then do some education, educate yourself, do some research, do some digging. You hear something that really sparks your interest, look it up. Find out what type of certifications or degrees that you need in order to fulfill that. And then once you learn more about it and it just lights an even deeper fire on you, you know you're going in the right direction. If you lose interest, then you know you take another turn down a different road, and that's okay. But you aren't going to hear your calling by swiping through social media. You gotta shut it down. because it's only a distraction from you and your goals and what you're really here to pursue in life. Instead, Google your interests, watch documentaries, and whatever lights the biggest fire under you, pursue it, follow it, dive and dig a little deeper. And if you realize you have multiple little flames, think of how you can create a career for you, specifically for you, so that you can continue to feed those flames. How can you live that purpose? How can you walk into that future self that you see for you? How can you walk into your future self a little bit each day? Think about what type of person you want to become. Think about your higher self and start showing up as them. Additionally, trust that all the things that you're passionate about will lead you into the direction that you need to go. If you keep changing your majors in school, you either need to do one of two things. You either need to reevaluate your priorities or find a way to include all the little things you're passionate about into one. For example, if you're passionate about animals, but you really feel led towards law, don't give up one of the passions to do something that you think is more practical. Find a way to incorporate it all. Maybe you can do animal rights. There's ways you can go about doing it that you don't have to not pursue something that you're extremely passionate about. And also give yourself grace for change, because we as individuals are constantly changing, and we realize that what we thought we really liked was really just a little bit of infatuation, and it wasn't like real love or anything. So we pursue something that may not be for us long term, if that makes any sense. So the grace behind this is accepting that that was for that time, and eventually everything's going to come together to make sense. Like, for example, you were interested in mathematics, then you were interested in animals, then you were really interested in law, and then somehow everything comes together and you're teaching a whole class on this whole new phenomenon that the world hasn't even heard of. So I'm saying, once again, everything happens for a reason, and trust that your passions are leading you in the direction that you need to go as an individual. Your journey is not going to look like anybody else's, so trust what you're going through is going to better you in the future. So if you're looking to discover your calling, first step, shut down the media. Stop going on social media. Just stop it. Take a nice little cleanse so that you can refocus on what you really need to. So many of us complain about not having enough time, but yet we waste so much of our time on these little trivial things. Instead of watching TV, shut the TV down too. Instead of watching television, unless it's like education or something that's pouring into you, step away from it. If you need some leisure time, sit outside, go for a walk, work out, read a book, do something that's going to pour into you, that's going to spur thought, spur imagination, give you some inspiration. I like to think of ourselves as bodies of water. When water becomes stagnant, it becomes mucky and dark, and not a lot of life is able to grow there. But when we allow things to flow, we allow things to move, and we're constantly flowing, we create life around us. The grass becomes greener on our side because we're allowing things to flow out, but we're also pouring things back in. So don't become stagnant wherever you are. If you're looking for something to do and you have downtime, either pour out some art or some creativity, or just brainstorm different ideas, different things you see for yourself in the future, or pour into yourself. Pour out or pour in. And that's how you keep yourself from getting stagnant. But also know when to slow down, because turbulent waters creates a mess, and you realize at the end of that turbulence, all the water is gone. So don't become too stagnant and don't become too turbulent. Find a balance. And lastly, my quote for you guys today is by Viktor Frankl. Hope I am pronouncing that right. Here we go. When a person can't find a deep sense of meaning, they distract themselves with pleasure. Don't be that person. Once again, we need you. The world needs you to find your purpose so you can make this planet a better place. People are dying. People are suffering. And you not walking into your purpose, you're killing us more. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. So what are you going to be? Who are you? Who are you going to be today and tomorrow and a year from now? Everything that you become starts with who you are right now. So who are you? Who do you want to be? And are you showing up as that person? We need you to wake up. We need you to look around. And we need you to have compassion. Use that compassion to find your passion. Use that passion to find your career. Use that career to change this world. And on that note, I'm leave it be. Try to keep the peace. And make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe. I don't know if I said that, but subscribe, please and thank you. And check out my Instagram page for the YouTube channel, y.indya.ng, for more and for updates when I post new videos. Oh, and when you do subscribe, click that little bell button on the notifications thing so you get notifications when I do post new videos. Okay, now that's all I have for you guys. Let's go live life.